It is time for some high-stakes gambling in Bloodsport Gambler. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Night YouTube channel. Guys, I am back with another one. In this one, guys, we've got Bloodsport Gambler by Mirage Merchant. First off, huge shout out to Dylan for sending me a copy of the game. He is the creator of Bloodsport Gambler. He sent me a copy to review and do a playthrough of, and I very, very much appreciate it, Dylan. This game is incredible, dude. Great job. It's so fun. I have played the single player variant a couple times off camera, and I've also played the two-player variant with a buddy of mine, and it is so fun both ways, single player or co-op. So dudes, we're going to get right into it. First off, you might notice the artwork is incredible. Check out this artwork, dude. Look at that. That is so freaking good right there. I love it. The theme of the game is really good. All the artwork is really good. It's a great game. It says, Bloodsport Gambler, risk it all to survive the desperate world of high-stakes gambling. As you can see on the back of the box, it gives you a little image of the game. I've also got it all set up here on the table. We're going to get into a playthrough in just a moment. It says, risk it all to survive the desperate world of high-stakes gambling. Bloodsport Gambler, a game for 1 or 2 players, focuses on a tense and seedy story of risk, luck, and the efforts that sway fate in your favor. The simple gameplay combines card-driven strategy, risk mitigation, and resource management with the thrill of betting, dice rolling, and pushing your luck. Thrust into desperation by swelling debts, you must gamble on the foul pit fights of Gomorrah in a last-ditch struggle to pay off a merciless syndicate of moneylenders. With looming payments fast approaching, the only way to beat the odds is to sleuth, scheme, and sabotage. While a sure bet is favorable to warding off debt collectors, the risk of getting caught cheating could rid you of your earnings, your reputation, or worse, your life. Only those who are clever and cunning enough to pay off their debts will survive the vile underbelly of the slithering city. Is that not intriguing or what, guys? Players, 1 or 2 players, ages 14 and up, and it takes about an hour or 2 to play the game. It's a pretty lengthy game, to be honest with you. So I don't know if we're going to go through an entire playthrough in this video. I'll probably do like a round or 2 to kind of show you guys how the game works. And then it's got the contents of the game right here in the back of the box. You get 28 action cards, which are these red-backed cards right here. You get 18 fighter cards, which are the white-backed cards. You get 18 weapon cards, these little mini weapon cards right here with the black back. And you also get 4 lone cards. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. You get 12 secret cards, which are also black-backed cards over here. You get the 4 lone cards. I've got 2 on the table. There's also 2 more in case you want to play the 2-player variant. You get 1 guard level card, which is right over here. You get 66 coin tokens, which is all these little yellow wooden pieces right over here. And I've got some over this way. And you get 10 wound tokens. So you get these little like blood drop wound tokens right here. Pretty cool. You also get 12 time tokens, which are these little purple squares right here. And I'm only using 6 since I'm playing the single player variant, but you have 6 extra in case you want to play with 2 players. You also get 6 chance tokens, which are these little green wooden pieces. Of course, I'm only using 3 because I'm playing single player, but it comes with 3 more for the 2-player variant. And you get 1 guard token, this little orange wooden piece right here. You get 2 dice, red and black dice. Really like those. Those are really cool. And you also get a notepad, which is in the box, and a rule book, which is inside of the box as well. And I guess I can go ahead and show you guys real quick what that looks like. Let me slide the top off. The box is really nice too. Nice thick cardboard. Feels good. So you got the little notepad right here. Here's the extra stuff too. Here's the extra loan cards and the extra little wooden pieces for your time and chance tokens. And then you also get the Gomorrah Gambling Den betting slip. So you can, if you're playing with the 2-player variant, you can use this to write your bets and wagers, who you think's going to win. Got a little spot for notes over here on the side. And you got plenty of those. And then you also get this really nice rule book with the same artwork that is on the cover of the box, right here on the cover of the Book of Rules. And as you can see, it's got all the rules in here. It's really nicely laid out. It's very succinct. It was very easy to read straight through. And yeah, pretty much picked up the game pretty quickly right off the bat. It's also got a section where it has red text that gives you examples of certain, things happening in the game. So it gives you like a little scenario, so that way you can see if you're playing it right and how all the actions go and all that jazz. And yeah, and it's got like a chart at the end that shows you what happens if you win the game and how many coins you have left. You'll get like a different ending, and then if you lose the game, you'll get a different ending as well. So there you go. That's what comes in the box right there. And then all the rest of the stuff, as mentioned, is sitting out on the table. Set the box over this way. So here we go, guys. So basically what you're doing in this game is, like I said on the back of the box, you are betting on pit fights. So you're in the land of Gulmora, or the city of Gulmora, and there are these pit fights that happen, kind of like gladiator style fights, and you're betting on the fighters to try to earn gold so that you can pay off the syndicate of money lenders. And you've got these 6 loan payments down here that you need to pay off in order to win the game. At the end of every round, you'll be able to pay off 1 or more of your loan payments in any order. And once you pay off all 6 of them, you have won the game. If you fail to pay off your loans, however, you have lost the game. And yeah, the syndicate, let's not talk about what they do to you. So you want to win the game, right? So we've got this nice little card over here that shows you the round phases. You've got the setup phase, take action phase, place bets, watch fights, settle up, and reset. And then on the back, it shows you the different types of action cards that you have, which are these red cards over here. They have a little eyeball symbol that is a discover action. You play during the take action phase and you resolve it immediately. You also have a special type of action that has a star that says you play during the take action phase and resolve immediately, similar to the discover cards. Then you've got a react action card that has the little sword icon, and you play that during the watch fights phase and resolve immediately. So as fights are happening, you can play react cards to like interfere with the fights and do things during the fights to change the outcome, which is super cool. And then last but not least, you've got sabotage action cards that have a little bomb icon on it, and you could play this during the take action phase and you resolve it in the watch fights phase. So I'll show you how that works in just a moment, guys. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and shuffle everything up here. And the very first thing that we're going to have to do, if we flip over a little card here, is the setup. So we're going to gain up to 6 action cards and 6 time tokens. So we're going to go ahead and get our 6 action cards right here. Scoop those up. We're also going to get our 6 time tokens, which are the purple cubes over here. So we've got those ready to go. And then the arena is going to announce the fights. So this is the really fun part, guys. I mean, the whole thing is fun, but this and the betting is so fun. So we're going to go ahead and shuffle this stuff up real quick, get the fighters shuffled up, get the secrets shuffled up, and we'll shuffle up the weapons as well. And then we're going to announce the fights. So this is how you do it, guys. There's going to be 3 fights that happen per round. We're going to take a fighter card and flip it over. The first one that we got here is the Grave Filler. So hopefully you guys can see this here. It's got some numbers, some stats on the card that I'll go over with you right now. So it's got the name of the card, the Grave Filler, awesome artwork. All the artwork is amazing. This number right here is going to be either a 1, a 2, or a 3, and that's essentially the fighter's rank. That's to tell you how good they are, how strong they are overall. So the Grave Filler is a rank 2. His strength is 4, his dexterity is 2, and his life is 3. He's got 3 hit points, so you have to deal 3 damage to him to kill him. And I'm gonna show you how the strength and the dexterity works once the weapons come out. Essentially, when a weapon is revealed, it'll tell you whether you use the strength or the dexterity of the particular fighter. So we're gonna go ahead and put the Grave Filler right there. Let's see who the Grave Filler is gonna be fighting. He's going to be fighting the Doomed Monstrosity, who is a level 1, so he's not quite as strong as the Grave Filler here, so he is the underdog, and the Grave Filler is considered the favorite. That's going to be important soon enough when we start betting. So let's go on to the next round of fights here. We got the War Master. He's a level 3. This dude is not playing around, guys. He's got 5 life, 4 strength, 3 dexterity. He is a tough fighter, and he's going against the poor Shrouded Fiend, the lowly Shrouded Fiend, a rank 1, is going up against the War Master. That is the underdog for sure in that fight. And then last but not least, we've got the Bandit Queen, rank 2, versus the Harpy, rank 3. So there are no fair fights in this first round of fights right here, guys. So here we go. There's an underdog and a favorite in every fight. The next thing you're going to want to do is take a secret and put it face down between each of the fighters like this. This is going to affect the fight. There's going to be a secret thing that happens. You guys will see it soon enough. It's really cool. And then you're going to take a weapon and you're going to put a weapon face down next to every fighter like this. There we go. And then those are secret as well. You're not going to know what those are. And then the bookie is going to announce the odds. That is the last part of the setup phase. So if the difference in rank between the fighters is 1, the odds are 2 to 1. If the difference between the fighters is 2, like in this one, the War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend, since he's a 3 and he's a 1 and the difference is 2, the odds are 3 to 1. And if they're even, unfortunately we don't have any even on the table, but say the Bandit Queen was 2 and just pretend the Harpy was 2, then it's equal odds, right? So that's going to affect how much money you win depending on if you win the bet or win the fight. So we've got all that taken care of. The next thing to do is take action. So you can take your action cards. If you're playing in the single player variant, you just continue playing action cards until you don't want to play any anymore. If you're playing with another player, you would each take turns playing an action card. So I would play an action card, my buddy would play one. Then it's back to me to play one. It goes back to him, so he doesn't want to play anymore. Then it comes back to me and I can continue playing more action cards if I want to. So something to note about the action cards. First, it's going to have the name of the action card at the top. It'll have a little symbol denoting what type of action card it is. As we mentioned earlier, it's going to either be Discover, as you can see with the little eye icon. It'll be a Special, React, or Sabotage type of action card. And then below that, it's going to tell you the risk. So this is a really cool thing about it too, guys. You've got this card over here. This is the guard level card. Now, there are guards roaming around the arena as people are betting on these fights, and they're trying to catch people doing shady stuff, right? So you don't want to get caught by the guards. The risk value on these action cards is going to be added to the risk level that is on this guard level card over here, and you're going to have to roll a 6-sided dice, and if you roll higher than the risk value, you succeed, the guards do not catch you. If you roll the risk value equal to it or lower, the guards will catch you. 3 things happen when the guards catch you. When the guards catch you, you have to randomly discard one of your action cards from your hand. So you would shuffle up your cards and you would discard an action card at random. The second thing that happens is you would move this little orange peg up 1 space on the guard level tracker over here. And that's going to make it harder to sneak past the guards when you do future action. So you don't want that to happen. And the third and most brutal thing that happens is whichever fight you played that action card on, say for instance, I played the Gambling Den Gossip, view any one secret. If I wanted to play that up here on this first fight and view this secret and I get caught by the guards, I can no longer win money from that fight this round, which is brutal. That is super, super brutal. So that's the worst part about getting caught. You do not want to get caught by the guards. So there are ways to mitigate this. So let's say that we want to do that. Let's say we want to play the Gambling Den Gossip card, and it has a risk of 1, and it says that we can view any one secret. Well, let's say we want to view, let's go with the first one. We'll just keep the same example here. We'll say that we want to view this first one. So we're going to get some gossip. You know, there's people gossiping around the arena here, and we're going to get a little intel on this fight right here on these fighters. So I can either keep the risk at 1 and add it to the 1 of the guard level, which would make the risk 2, and then we would have to roll a 3 or higher. Or I can spend either time tokens, these purple tokens, or my gold tokens, any combination of the 2, and I could place those on the action card when I play it, and that will bring the risk value down for each one of those that I play on it. So whether I played a coin on it or I played a time token on it, that will bring the risk value down by 1 for each of those. So since the risk on the Gambling Den Gossip is 1, we're going to subtract it by 1 with our time token, bringing it down to 0, and now we only go off of the guard level on the card over here, which is level 1. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to view any one secret. So let's go ahead and check this one out. Now if you're playing with 2 players, only you would get to see this, and you would hide this information from your opponent, which is really cool because then you know what's going on with that particular fight, but they don't. So you'll have a better chance of which fighter you want to bet on that you think is going to win the fight. So this particular secret says, Corrupted Armorer. Fighters exchange weapons before the fight. Okay, that's interesting. Unfortunately, that doesn't give us too much intel in this case because I don't know what their weapons are. But yeah, so we know that that's going to happen for sure. When the fight starts, they're actually going to swap weapons. So I'm going to go ahead and place that back face down. And since we're playing in single player mode, you can actually just leave those face up whenever you play them because there's no reason to hide it from anyone since you're just playing by yourself. So now what we got to do, guys, is since I mitigated the risk on this action card by 1, we still have the level 1 on the guard level over here. I need to roll anything but a 1. Anything but a 1. And we rolled a 4, so we passed. That is amazing. As mentioned before, if I would have rolled a 1, this would move up to the next level. I'd have to discard an action card at random from my hand, and then I wouldn't be able to win any money on this fight. But thankfully, we rolled a 4 and we passed the guard level test right there. So this stays at a 1, and we did not get caught. Cool. So we're going to go ahead and put this over here in the discard pile, and this is a good time to mention. Anytime a deck runs out of cards, whether it's the action, fighter, weapon, or secret deck, you shuffle up the discard pile to form a new draw pile, and you continue going just like that. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is continue to take actions. Let's see if there's anything else I want to do here. There's so many different ones. There's also some that will say no risk. Rather than having a risk value, it'll say no risk, in which case you don't have to roll. You don't even have to roll for the guard level on the guard level card. There's no risk involved at all whatsoever, so you don't have to make a risk roll. Let's see. So I guess it'd be good for the tutorial to kind of show you guys some of the other types of actions. So we have a sabotage card here. This one says maim fighter. The fighter rolls attack twice, keeping the lower result. That is pretty interesting. We also have conceal weapon in arena. Replace weapon with this card, and the type that we're going to use on the fighter is best. And then the damage is going to be 3. And I'll show you how that works in just a moment once the fights actually happen. So I think I want to play that on, I think I'm going to play it on, we're going to go crazy here, guys. On this fight with the War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend, I'm going to play Conceal Weapon in Arena on the Shrouded Fiend. So this is going to replace his weapon with this card. Dude, okay, this might be crazy. So if you're playing the 2-player variant, normally what you would do is you would take that card, the sabotage card with the little bomb, and you'd place it face down, and then you'd put however many time and or coin tokens you want on the back of that card, and that will mitigate the risk, and you'll resolve that at a later point in the round. But if you're playing just by yourself, single player, you can just play this card face up, because again, there's no reason to hide it from anyone. So since this has a risk of 3, I'm going to play 3 time tokens. Oh, I have to remember too, I already spent 1 time token on the Gambling Den Gossip, so I'll place that up this way. And then I'm going to play 3 more on the Conceal Weapon in Arena to bring the risk of that card down to a 0. We've got 2 time tokens left, and we have a lot of money left. Is there anything else I want to do? I think I'm going to chill right there. I don't want to push my luck too much because we don't want to get caught by the guard. So we're going to hang on to the rest of these action cards over here. The next step of the game is the place bets phase. As you can see on the round phases here, we did the setup, then we did the take actions phase, and now we're on to phase 3, which is place bets. So during the bet placement phase, you can bet on each fight, or you can choose not to bet on the fights. You don't have to bet on any of them if you don't want to, but then you're not going to win money. But in some cases, it's probably of your best interest to not bet on them if you know you're going to lose, or if you're really unsure about it and it's too much of a risk. So in this case, you always start with 16 gold. That is something important to mention. Both players, if you're playing 2-player, you start with 16 gold, and if you're playing single player by yourself, you start with 16 little gold tokens over here. So the way betting works is you can bet from 1 to 3 gold on a particular fighter. If it's the underdog fighter, meaning if it's the fighter that has the lower rank between the two, you can bet anywhere from 1 to 3. If you're betting for the favorite, so the fighter that has a higher rank than the other one, there's some different rules that take place here. If the odds are 1 to 2 odds, or 2 to 1 odds, as is the case here, since this guy's a level 2 and he's a level 1, and there's only 1 rank difference between them, the odds are 1 to 2 or 2 to 1 odds. If I were to bet on the favorite, I have to bet 2 coins in that case. It can't be any more or any less, it has to be 2. Similarly, in this instance, the War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend, since the War Master is a rank 3 and the Shrouded Fiend is a rank 1, there's a difference of 2 between them. If I were to bet on the favorite, which is the War Master, I have to bet 3 coins. I can't bet any less than that. It has to be 3. So if you bet on the favorite and the odds are 2 to 1, you have to bet 2 coins. If you bet on the favorite and the odds are 3 to 1, you have to bet 3 coins. And if the odds are even, say the War Master was a 3 and the Shrouded Fiend was a 3, you can bet on either fighter any number of coins you want from 1 to 3. And the same thing if you're betting on the underdog fighter in any case, you can bet 1 to 3. That might sound like a lot, but once you start playing the game, it's just second nature and you get used to it really, really quickly. So there we go. So we're going to go ahead and start betting on the fights. And I got to say, man, it's very fun playing in single player, but when you're playing with another player, it is really cool to know that like you and your buddy are sitting there like betting on the fights and you don't know who's betting on which fighter and how much you're going to bet and who's going to sabotage what fighter. It's really, really fun stuff. So since we're playing single player though, still a really, really good time. We're going to go ahead and let's see what we're going to do here, guys. So we know that in this first fight, the corrupted armor secret right here is going to make the fighters exchange weapons. But again, we don't know what those weapons are. So in this case, since the grave filler has a strength of 4, dex 2, and life 3, those are pretty good stats. The doomed monstrosity over here has strength 3, dexterity 2, and life 1. I kind of feel like the doomed monstrosity is probably going to lose this fight. We don't know. It could go the other way, but I think the odds are that the grave filler is going to win the fight. So as just mentioned, since the grave filler is 1 rank higher than the doomed monstrosity and the odds are 2 to 1, which by the way, it comes with this really cool little betting odds table card, and on the back it has a payout table, so it tells you how much you're going to win and how much you need to bet. So that's a really cool little visual aid right there that comes with the game. We're going to take the 2 coins, and I'm going to put 2 on the grave filler because I have to bet 2 since he is the favorite in the 2 to 1 fight. If you were to be playing this game with a buddy, you would not put your gold out on the table like this. You would use the little pad that came in the box that I showed in the beginning of the video, or you could write it on another slip of paper or put it in your phone, is how my buddy and I were doing it. We're just doing it in a notepad document on our phone. You put the fighter that you think is going to win, and then you put the number of coins that you're betting next to it. But in this case, when you're playing single player, you can just put the coins out on the card. It's just easier that way. All right, so yeah, I think that the grave filler is probably going to win. We're going to bet our 2 coins on him. Now, this is going to be the interesting fight right here, guys. So we've got the War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend. Now, the War Master is a beast. He's got 4 strength, 3 dexterity, and 5 health. The Shrouded Fiend has strength 3, dexterity 1, and only 2 health, but we played Conceal Weapon in the arena on him. So when this fight pops off, he is going to replace his weapon with this card. So it doesn't matter what his weapon is, he's going to replace it with this. The type that he's going to use is going to be best. In this case, his best stat out of his strength and dexterity is his strength, which is 3. And if he hits, he's going to deal 3 damage. So technically, the Shrouded Fiend is going to have to win twice and deal 3 damage to the War Master twice in order to take his health down from 5 to 0. So it's a long shot, but for fun, man, we're going to go ahead and we're going to bet on the Shrouded Fiend. So since the Shrouded Fiend is the underdog in this situation, since he's only a rank 1 to the War Master's rank 3, what I'm going to do is I can bet anywhere from 1 to 3 coins, and I think I'm going to play it relatively safe-ish, and I'm going to bet 2 coins. Now, if he wins, there's going to be a massive, massive payout, which you'll see at the end if he wins. Now let's move on to the final of the 3 fights in this first round. We have the Bandit Queen, which is level 2, versus the Harpy, which is level 3. The Harpy has a little bit more health than the Bandit Queen, and its stats are considerably better with 3 strength and 5 dex compared to the 2 strength and 4 dex of the Bandit Queen. So I think I'm going to go ahead and I'm actually going to bet on the Harpy in this situation here. And just like the first fight, since the Harpy is a level 3 and the Bandit Queen is a level 2, there's 1 rank difference between them, which means the odds are 2 to 1, which means when you bet on the favorite, you have got to bet 2 coins. So I'm going to go ahead and bet 2 coins right there on the Harpy, just like that. And there we go, guys. The bets phase, or the place bets phase, rather, is over. And now we're moving on to the watch fights phase. So here we go, guys. We're going to go ahead and watch the fights now and see how this plays out. And keep in mind, if I were to have, I don't have any in my hand, unfortunately, but if I were to have an action in my hand that had the react icon on it with the little sword, I could play these during the watch fights phase and resolve immediately to interact with the fight. So, you know what? Maybe for fun, let's go ahead and see if I can just draw one out to replace. There we go. So I'll just grab that one and I'll just put a random card back just for the tutorial's sake so you guys can kind of see how that works. Go ahead and grab that. Okay, so on this first fight here, we're going to go ahead and the first thing you're going to do is reveal the weapons and the secret. So in the single player mode, the secret is already revealed, but if we were playing with 2 players, you'd go ahead and now flip over that secret as well so that both players could see it. So the weapon that the Grave Filler has is an insane weapon. It is actually one of the 2 strongest weapons in the game. It's the Flame Engulfed Steel. And this weapon says that it uses the fighter's dexterity, and it does 5 damage if they hit. That is massive. That is enough to one-shot any fighter in the game. So he has an insane weapon. And then the Doomed Monstrosity has a fork and spoon. So So he's going to use his dexterity for this one, and it does 1 damage. Okay, guys, I'm feeling good about our bet here. I really think the Grave Filler is probably going to take this, but we'll see, guys. It's anybody's fight here. So what's up, dudes? It is game night from the future. I am currently editing this video, and I just realized that I goofed, guys. I did not swap the weapons according to the secret for these two fighters, so things might have panned out a little bit differently, but it's all good. You'll get the gist of how all of this functions in the game. It doesn't actually ruin anything necessarily. So yeah, just wanted to let you guys know I goofed. I forgot to swap their weapons, but yeah, guys, enjoy the fights and enjoy the rest of the video. Now what you're going to do, you're going to take your 2 dice and you are going to assign a dice to each fighter. I always put the red one on the guy on the left and the black one on the guy on the right. So we're going to go ahead and roll. Ooh, okay. So now what you do is this. You look at the number on the dice that you rolled, and then you look at your fighter's weapon. So he's using his dexterity stat with the Flame Engulfed Steel. His dex is 2, so you'd add 2 to the 1, which is 3. So he scored 3. The Doomed Monstrosity would use his 6, and his Fork and Spoon use his dexterity stat, which is 2. So you'd add 2 to the 6, which is 8. And the 8 is higher than the 3. If it's higher than the number, if they're equal, nothing would happen. You'd have to re-roll. But if it's higher than, then you inflict the damage from the weapon of the fighter that had the higher number to the opposing fighter's life. So in this case, he is going to gouge the Grave Filler with his Fork and Spoon for 1 damage, and will take 1 little health token right there, damage token, and place it on the Grave Filler. Now the Grave Filler has 3 health, so he is wounded, but he still has 2 health, so he's still in this fight. So we're going to go ahead and roll again. Okay, we've got a 5 over here and a 5 over here. So the Grave Filler's got the 5 plus his dexterity is 2 is 7. And then same thing for the Doom Monstrosity. 5 plus the 2 is 7. So they are tied. Go ahead and roll again. It's not looking good for the Grave Filler, guys. So he's got the 1 plus the 2 dex is 3. 4 plus 2 is 6. So the Doom Monstrosity hits the Grave Filler again with the Fork and Spoon. What is the Grave Filler doing? He's got the Flame Engulfed Steel, but he is not able to wield it properly, guys. The Doom Monstrosity is making the Grave Filler look like a fool right now. He is literally eating them for dinner with his Fork and Spoon. Let's go ahead and roll again. See what we get. Uh-oh. The Grave Filler is going Super Saiyan, dudes. He's got his 6 plus his 2 from Dex is 8. And then the 5 plus the 2 Dex is 7. The Grave Filler gets his revenge and hits the Doom Monstrosity for 5 damage, and it doesn't even matter because he's only got 1 health and he is dead. The Grave Filler has won the fight. So at this point, since the game comes with 10 of these little health damage tokens here, I like to remove the ones off of the fighter that won and put them back in the pool so that I can use them on the other fighters if I need them. And then I leave 1 single damage token on the fighter that lost to signify that they're dead and they lost the fight. So we're going to leave everything there. That was the first fight. The Grave Filler is victorious. He exits the pit from the arena, and the next 2 fights enter the pit. The War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend. This one's going to be super interesting, guys. So we're going to go ahead and flip over our weapons and the secret card. The War Master has a pretty good weapon here, guys. He's got the Net and Trident with the Dexterity stat and damage 4. Wow, that is quite a lot of damage, and that will use his Dexterity stat of 3, which in the War Master's case is his lower of the 2 stats right there, which is good for us since we bet on the Shrouded Fiend. The Shrouded Fiend's weapon, it doesn't really matter, but we'll show it anyway, is the Spiked Helm. He's got his Dexterity stat that he would use, and the damage is 3 right there. But since we use the Conceal Weapon in Arena card, that's going to replace his weapon with this card, and the type, rather than being, you know, like it says on the card's Dex or Strength, or sometimes it'll say Worst or Best, he's going to use his best stat, which is his strength of 3. So it's actually pretty good because the War Master is using his dexterity of 3 and the Shrouded Fiend is using his strength of 3. So it's an even fight as far as that goes. That's actually exactly what I was hoping for and the reason that I played this card. And then the damage will be 3. So if the Shrouded Fiend hits the War Master, he'll inflict 3 damage. So we have our 3 time tokens on the card. Oh, first also we need to reveal the secret. The secret is Endurance Fight. Both weapons, so this is going to apply to both of the weapons, use life instead of the original weapon stat. Oh no, that is horrible. So this is how things resolve. First, you're going to resolve any of the sabotage action cards that were played. So we're going to resolve this one first. I've got the 3 time tokens on it to mitigate the 3 risk. So the risk is 1 since the guard level is 1. So we're going to take the dice. We need to roll anything but a 1. We rolled a 3. Cool. So the guards did not catch us. We were able to conceal the weapon, and the guards didn't catch the Shrouded Fiend with the weapon. So we're going to go ahead and remove our 3 time tokens over here. We've spent those. We have 2 left. And now the next thing that happens is the secret will resolve. So in this case, we apply this to both weapons. We use the life stat instead of the original weapon stat. So that's actually going to override the conceal weapon in arena card using the best stat. And now instead we're going to use his life as the stat that we add to our roll, which is 2. And for the War Master, it's 5. So dudes, it is not looking good at all for the Shrouded Fiend. Now you can see how these secrets can really swing the fight one direction or the other, and why it's really powerful to be able to use certain action cards to be able to see what secrets are there, or some of these action cards will let you look at weapons as well. And some of them, if you're playing in a 2-player game, they'll also let you look at actions that are on the board. So like if this action was face down, and say my opponent plays one that an action card that lets him look at an action card, he'd actually be able to pick this up and look at it and go, oh, really? Your guy's concealing a weapon over here, huh? So that would give him some intel and help him make a decision on which fighter he would want to bet on. So there's a lot of cool little things like that that can swing the fight either way and give you some intel and information. So now we're going to move on to watching this fight pan out, guys. And yeah, it's not good for the Shrouded Fiend. It is not looking good at all. So we're going to go ahead and roll. I'm wholeheartedly expecting him to get completely decimated right here. Let's see what happens. So we got the red dice on the left, the black on the right. So the War Master has 3, and being it's an endurance fight, we're using his life stat instead of the stat from his weapon, which would be dexterity. So it's 5 plus 3 is 8. And then over here for our Shrouded Fiend, it is 5 plus his life is 2, which is 7. So the War Master scores higher. He attacks with the net and trident, and he deals 4 damage to the 2 life of the Shrouded Fiend. And dudes, the Shrouded Fiend goes down, man. Dang, the War Master strolls right up to him and just skewers him with the trident, wraps him up in the net, tosses him into the crowd, dude. The crowd is going wild, and the War Master struts off out of the arena. Wow, wasn't even a fight at all whatsoever. We tried, man. We tried to help the Shrouded Fiend by concealing the weapon, but the secret kind of botched that up for us. All right, so now we're going to move on to the third and final fight of the round. We're going to go ahead and reveal the weapons. The Bandit Queen has the Spear of Glass, which is going to use her dexterity stat, and it's going to do 3 damage. And her dex stat is the best. It's kind of scaring me since we bet on the Harpy. Let's see what weapon the Harpy has. It is the Fanged Shield, which uses the Strength stat, and it does 3 damage. And unfortunately, the strength of the Harpy is 3 compared to the dex 5. We really wanted dex on that one, but it is what it is. Could go either way. Now we're going to reveal the secret for this fight, and it is up late with adoring fans. Left fighter. So the fighter on the left, the Bandit Queen, she was up all night with her fans, man. They were partying, hanging out, having a good old time. And she's kind of hungover, so she's going to get -1 from her attack rolls. That's good for us because we bet on the Harpy. So the Bandit Queen is going to get -1 from her attack rolls. So let's go ahead and roll. Red dice on the left for the Bandit Queen, black on the left for the Harpy. Oh, okay. Wow. So since the Bandit Queen was up all night with her adoring fans and she gets -1 to her attack rolls and she rolled 1, she rolled nothing. She rolled a 0. So we're just going to use her base stat from her weapon. So dexterity is 4. So she has a 4. The Harpy has already won with her roll. She rolled a 5 plus her strength from her weapon is 3 plus the 5 is 8. So an 8 to a 4. The Harpy comes out ahead, inflicts 3 damage with the Fang Shield. The Bandit Queen has exactly 3 health, and that is enough to take the Bandit Queen down in 1 hit, dude. Just strolls right up. The Bandit Queen is in a drunken stupor from the night before, and the Harpy skewers her with the Fanged Shield. Wow, dude. That was a quick one. Okay, so now that all the fights are done, we're going to go ahead and enter the 5th phase of the round, which is the settle up phase. So now we're going to go ahead and settle up. So if you're playing the 2-player variant, this is where you and your opponent would show each other your slip of paper, or if you have it in a notepad document on your phone, however you've recorded it, you'll show each other which fighter you chose to win and how much gold you bet on that fighter. So if you're playing the 2-player variant, obviously you can already see because the gold is laid out on the cards for you. So we're going to go ahead and check out the first fight. We bet 2 gold on the grave filler, and the grave filler did win the fight. So we're going to get a payout. The first thing that happens, you're going to get your wager back. So whatever you wagered, you're going to get that back. In this case, we're going to go to the betting odds table here. Since this fight is a rank 2 versus a rank 1, that's 2-to-1 odds. So you'll go down here, difference in rank, says it right here on the card, 1, and it'll show you favorite fighter, 2-to-1. We did bet on the favorite. So yeah, so that's a 2-to-1. If you flip it over on the back, it'll show you the payout table. So the difference in rank is 1, 2-to-1, and we bet on the favorite, who is the grave filler, since her rank is higher than the Doom Monstrosity. That is the favorite. I'm calling it she. I think it's a guy. It's somebody. It's the grave filler. We're going to get 1 coin. So we're going to get our wager back, and we're going to get 1 coin. Had we bet on the underdog in that situation, we would get our wager back, and then we would get double our wager. So if we would have bet 2 coins in this instance, we'd get our 2 coins back, and then we'd get double that. So we'd get 4 in addition to getting our 2 coins back. But since we bet on the favorite, we're going to get our 2 coins, and we're going to get 1 coin for winning the bet on that fight. So we'll take it from the pool of coins over here and add that to our coin pouch over here. Then we're going to move down to the next fight. We've got the War Master versus the Shrouded Fiend. Unfortunately for us guys, we bet on the Shrouded Fiend. We would have had a massive payout if we would have won that fight. Since the difference between them is 2 ranks, that's 3-to-1 odds, and we bet on the underdog, we would have got our wager back plus triple the wager. So we would have got our 2 coins and then 6 extra coins on top of that. I was really trying to go for that one since we played the Sabotage Concealed Weapon in Arena, but this dang secret messed it up for us, but it's all good. So we lost that one, so we lose our 2 coins that we bet on the Shrouded Fiend. That goes over here to the coin pool. And then on the third and final fight, we bet that the Harpy would win, and we were right. She defeated the Bandit Queen, and we bet 2 on the Harpy. And similar to this first fight up here, the Harpy has a rank of 3 to the Bandit Queen's 2. That is a difference of 1, which means the odds are 2-to-1. And since we bet on the favorite, we get 1 coin in addition to what we wagered. So we're going to get our 2 coins back, and we made 1 coin. So in this instance, we broke even. We are back at 16 coins right there. So after the settle up phase is complete with, taking your coins from fights that you've wagered on or losing coins from fights that you wagered on and your fighter lost, you move to the next part of the settle up phase, which is paying off the loans. So we got to remember, there's a crime syndicate of money lenders, and they want their loan payments paid back to them. That's why we're even betting on these fights in the first place, to get the money to pay those guys off, unfortunately. So the way this works is you'll have these 2 cards down here. They are double-sided with the same thing on both sides. One of the cards will have loan payments of 3, 4, and 5, and the other card will have 6, 7, and 8. You can pay this off in any order. You could go straight to the 8 coin payment if you want, but in my opinion, I think it's best to pay off the lower ones first, so that way you have coin left over to bet on the fights in the next round. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pay off the first loan payment, and I should also mention you could pay off as many loans as you want each turn. You don't have to pay off just one. You could pay off as many as you want. You can also choose not to pay off a loan. If you choose not to pay off a loan that round, you have to take one of your 3 chance tokens, these little green tokens here, and you get rid of it. And then you can skip paying the loan for that round. It buys you some time. If you ever run out of your chance tokens and you don't have the gold to pay off the loan payment, you lose the game. You're not able to pay off the money lenders. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and pay off the first loan of 3. So you take 1 coin, place it on that loan. So that's 1, 2, 3. And we're going to put the other 2 coins over here in the pile. We have now paid off that first loan right there. Cool. So now we're going to move on to the 6th and final step of the round. This is the reset phase of the round. So during the reset phase, the first thing you can do, you can go through your action cards in your hand. Oh, you know what I just realized too, guys? I had picked out one of these, what are these called? React cards. I had picked out one of these react cards and intended to show you guys during the fight. So for instance, this one was Blind Fighter with a mirror. It says reroll fighter's attack roll, keeping the lower result. So we could have played that during the fight to change the attack roll. Say we wanted the War Master to re-roll and roll lower. Dang, we could have done that. It is what it is. So yeah, you could play those during the fight to sway the odds of the fight while it's actually happening, which is really cool. So, yeah, so now we're in the reset phase. What we're going to do is the first thing you could do is you could discard any number of action cards that you want from your hand. So let's just say we don't want these two, you know, and we'll throw those over there. You get rid of those. Next thing you do is you take all the little hit point tokens, the little blood tokens here, and you put those back in the pool of tokens over this way. The next thing you're going to do is take all of the cards that are out on the table, and you're going to put them in their respective discard piles. So we're going to take all the weapons, put those in a little discard pile over this way. We'll take all of the fighters, put those in their own separate discard pile, and then we'll take the secrets and put them in a discard pile over this way, just like that. And that is it. So that is the end of one round of Bloodsport Gambler. And then you'd go to the top of the next round, the setup phase. You'd gain up to 6 action cards in 6 time. So you would draw back up until you have 6 action cards in your hand. You'd get your time tokens back so that you have 6 tokens. And then you'd repeat the process. You would reveal fighters. You'd announce the fighters, announce the odds, and then you would take actions, place bets, watch the fight settle up, and reset, and you keep going through those phases until you have either paid off all of your loan payments or run out of chance tokens and gold and you're not able to pay off your loan payments, in which case you would lose the game. So a couple other things to mention. Something that I didn't mention, if at any point during a round you play the whole round, and whether it's single player or 2 player, and you play your action cards and you do not get caught by the guards, if the guard level is on 2 or 3, at the end of the round, you would actually lower the guard level by 1 during the reset phase. So in this case, that didn't happen because fortunately we didn't get caught by the guards and it stayed at level 1, but that is something to note. And I think that pretty much covers all of it. Yeah, I think that pretty much covers all of it. Dylan, if you're watching the video and I happen to leave anything out, you know, maybe let me know down in the comments, man. I'm pretty sure I pretty much got all of the little tidbits of rules and everything in there, though. So, guys, that is it. That is the gist of Bloodsport Gambler right there. Like I said, man, super, super fun as a single-player game. Also super, super fun to play with a friend. It's just really cool to have your own little secret bets going on, and you're trying to sabotage one another and gain intel that the other person doesn't have. It is really, really fun, and it works super well as a single-player variant also, guys. So this looks interesting to you guys. You can check this out. Just search Mirage Merchant. Dylan, if you have a website, man, maybe put that down in the comments and I'll be sure to add that to the description of the video. I do apologize that I didn't check on that before making this video. I got so excited about making the video that I just went straight into it. And yeah, so look up Mirage Merchant online, M-I-R-A-G-E Merchant, and look up Bloodsport Gambler. I'm sure it'll be easy enough to find online. So there it is, guys. Amazing art, amazing gameplay, super, super fun. Push your luck, resource management, card management, just everything you could want, guys. It's got all of it, and it's very addicting, very, very fun. It's so cool to watch the fights play out and see if you're going to win, to try to mitigate the fights and sway them one way or the other. It's always super, super fun to bet on the underdog and push the fight in his favor and get that big payout. Super, super fun. When I was playing with my buddy, we actually played last night. There is a card, there's an action card that lets you make a separate 6-to-1 parlay bet. And in order to win that bet, you have to bet on the winning fighter for all 3 fights. And he got it. And he bet 3 and won 18 coins. Now, Dylan, let me know about that too, man. I think we played that right, but he bet 3 and he won 18 coins. So he just won like a ton of coins. It was insane, guys. So it is so, so fun, guys. I highly, highly recommend Bloodsport Gambler. Be sure to check it out, guys. And hey, if you like this video, be sure to hit that thumbs up like button. If you're not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the red subscribe button, and click the bell icon so you can be notified every time I upload a brand new video. And I upload videos just like this all the time. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch all you dudes in the next video. See ya.